it's almost simple. But before we add, like what type of data we must pass? What should be the data format that we must pass while creating a record? Anyone knows what type of data we must pass? And there is one logic that we must add. Okay.
Read entry data, that method actually.
Yeah, yeah. 1 second. Let me open the table first of all. So guys, when we go to the table, okay, when we look at the contents, so can you see the SR number? Okay, let's say if we have same EBLN number, okay, let's say we have a same EBLN number. So can you see the SR number? Right, SR number is getting incremented by 1. Okay, so if there is a same EBLN and so SR number is different because to make this combination as a unique, every record should be unique within a table. Okay, because both are primary keys. So if I'm adding a same EBLN record, okay, if I'm adding a same EBLN record within this table, so if that EBLN already exists and for that SR number is already there, then next time when we add one more record based on that EBLN, for that SR number must be incremented by 1. So what we have to do in that case, always we have to capture the maximum SR number for the requested EBLN. Okay, if that EBLN number is already exists within a table, so the SR number must be incremented by 1. So that is what the logic we have to add before we add any record. So now let's go back in create entity and now let's add a code here. So first of all, let's take one variable which will consider the input. So so the data we will receive from this wait, I'll show you. See, this is the structure which will carry your data outside. Okay, so I'm just defining one variable which should be a type of the data that we will receive from the front end. Okay, and again that data we must pass based to the ER entity. So ER entity will carry the data outside like after posting. So this type we can use directly. Okay, you can give a comma here. Now after that, you can add a structure for internal table. The type of that it should be this table. Then we need SR number count. Type for that must be SR number. Okay. Now we have the three variables. I think one is the work area, which is a structure, and second is the variable which will hold the SR number count. Now what we have to do, now we have to read the data that we will pass from the front end. So to read that data, which parameter will carry that? iOData provider. Okay, so this importing parameter will carry that data from the browser. Like whichever data we are passing, that data always we call it as a payload. Okay, and within that payload, the data we will pass some sample data, and that data we have to capture from this iOData provider. So you can copy and you can write here iOData provider. For that, how to read? So for that, read entry data is the method, and now we have to import this in local variable, and now we will push that data to ls input data. Okay, so once it is done, now we have to fill this data. Where we have to fill? In our internal table or in our work area. Okay, so what is our work area in this case? ls internal type or ls internal table. So we will move this. So we whatever we capture in ls input data, we move to ls internal table. And now after that, before we add this record to the table, now let's check the maximum SR number. So to check a maximum SR number, so I'll write a code, select single max SR number from ZT purchase order into one variable I'm creating where EBELN equal to at the rate. So the data that we have, so from that we will receive EBLN number. Okay, so once we get that, then what we will do, we will say LV underscore SR number equal to LV underscore SR number plus 1. And now finally in ls internal table, we will update that LV underscore SR number. Okay, and one more thing. So as we have MNDT field, right? So we have this MNDT field within a table. So this MNDT field also we have to fill, that is the client number. So what is a client ID? So that we have to get. So you can get that client ID from sci MNDT. So that is a standard variable. And finally, we have to insert this record to the table. Okay, so this is the table. So we will push that data from here. That's it. So let me check a code. So there is no syntax error and we will activate this code. Okay, so it is activated now. Let's go back here. Okay, now tell me guys, do you know how to create a payload? You know how to create the payload? If you are a developer, then you must know how to pass the data, right? And in which format we have to pass. So data must be passed in a object or in a JSON format. So always we must pass the data in a JSON format. You can also pass in a XML, but I think the preferred way is JSON format. Okay, let's do that. I'll explain you how to do that. So yeah, let me add an entity set here. I'll add a question dollar format equal to JSON. Okay, execute this. So we have this data, right? So any one of the record you can directly copy. Okay, you can directly copy and you can paste here. But I think that's not the preferred way in this gateway client to test. Instead of that, if you want to read a single record, just add this code. Okay, we will read a single record here. Okay, and now we will add a URI option as dollar format equal to JSON. Execute this. So we got the single record. Okay, now and that record it is in format of JSON. So what we must do on top, can you see one variable is there? Okay, what is that? Sorry, button is there. So that button is use as a request. Click on this use as request. So when you click this use as a request, automatically the content will be copied on left hand side, and there will be one header parameter as content type. So the content type of this header, so content type is JSON format. Okay, so this is a JSON format data which we want to update. So while updating, I think we don't need metadata. You can always remove. Okay, metadata is not required. Now, SR number also we must not pass because already like it is taken care, right? From the logic that we added. So you can remove the SR number. Now after that, rest all things you can keep it as same. Date you can pass this in this way only. This is a date only. Okay, it's a date object only. But at least you got it. You can read any single record in dollar format equal to JSON. Just click on use as a request option. When you click on this, automatically the header will be added as a content type application slash JSON. And then you can which operation we have to perform to create a record. Anyone knows which operation we were which method we should select on the top, which will trigger the create call?
Post.
Yes.
Post.
So post is the HTTP method which will trigger the create call. Okay. So now here, now what should be the URL, guys? Should we pass a key fields while posting? Okay, we should never pass dollar format equal to JSON or any key fields. Just keep entity set name. That's it. Okay, don't pass anything in the URL. If you are passing question dollar format equal to JSON, still your create call will fail. So make sure that you keep only entity set name. Okay, so I selected post as a call, and this is what the data I'm going to add. Okay, this is what the data I'm going to add. So already there is a record exist for this value, and you can see EBLN is 12. Okay, the purchase order number is 12 and SR number is 2 for that. So definitely it will consider the maximum SR number, that is 2, and it will create one more record with SR number 3 for the same purchase order number. Okay, so let me add a breakpoint. So I'll keep a breakpoint here. Let's go back to the where is a gateway client? Yeah. Now I'll just execute now. Okay. See, so it triggered create entity, and after that, let's see what data we have in IO data provider. So this data we can't see properly. Okay, because this data it is in a JSON format. So to convert that back to the normal to see the data, that's what we have the read entry method here. You can continue. And now if you see in ls input data, this is what the data we have. Okay, so we receive SR number because we didn't pass any value, right? So by default it will be 0. EBLN we have, BU carries, all these details already. Whatever the details we pass from the front end, we receive that details. Okay, and we captured that details in ls input data, and now we move that ls input data to ls internal table. Okay, once it is moved, then in ls internal table, we have the same records. Now the next thing is we have to get the maximum SR number. Okay, so if you look at the LV underscore SR number, so it will just do the calculation. And now let's see what is the maximum SR number that we receive. See, so this is what the maximum SR number we have, right? 2, as I said. So we will increment by 1. So now the LV underscore SR number would be 3. And this is what the SR number we will store in our the work area that we created. And similarly, we will update the client ID as well in MNDT field. You can see it is as 800. And now finally, we will insert this record in a table. Okay, see. record is created finally. But one thing we miss, guys, what is that? Why we are not able to see any output here? See, whichever record I'm passing, at least that output we must see, right? While creating. Why we are not able to see any output? Anyone knows?
We have not returned back the same data.
Yes.
Copy
Yes.
data. Yeah.
Whatever the data we receive, at least we should return back that, right? So we must return to the ER entity. So that we didn't did. That's why we are not getting as an output there. Okay, that is the case. But let's see in a table whether that record is updated or not. So I'll just refresh here. Now, can you see a third record here? SR number 3 is there and it has EBLN 12. Okay, because already there are record exist for EBLN 12. Okay, that's why this is an incremented value for that. And this is what the record we stored. So it looks like our record is getting updated now. Okay, so it got created. Now let's see the update method. So to implement the update method, it's almost the same. There will be no change, but only there will be the change in the HTTP method as well as the request URI. So whenever you are updating any record, we must pass key field values. Okay. So in the URL, we must mention the key value pairs, like which record you want to update. As there are two key fields like SR number and purchase order. So we must add that in a URL. So then only that specific record will be updated. So you can keep this payload as it is, and we can just make few changes in this. Okay. So to update any record, what should be the code? I think code is almost same. There will be no change. So again, we have to read the data that we passed. We will fill the internal table, and again, instead of insert, we will use modify as the keyword or modify as the syntax to update the table record. Okay, so I think what we can do here, we can go back. Wait, just 1 second. Um, I'll select as get and I'll read all the data. Now let's say we want to read the last data that we added just now. Okay, this record we want to update. And for that, this is the key value paste. So we pass SR number equal to 3 and EBELN equal to 45,000 or something. And now we will add URI option as $format equal to JSON, execute. Now we will use this as a request for updation purpose. Okay. And now from here, see guys, if you want, you can pass this metadata or you can simply ignore. Okay. But let it be fine. I think SR number will keep it as 3, EBLN will keep it as 12. And now which field we must update? I think because as it is a standard, let's say instead of NB, if I pass NC, instead of F, let's say if I'm passing A. So I just updated two fields, BS type and BS ART. Okay, fine. So only two fields I have updated. And now which HTTP method we must select? Put. Okay, so I'm going to select put as a HTTP method. And now if you see on left hand side, so there is a content type as well as XSCRF token. So guys, always remember whenever you're going to make any call, like a get call, post call, put anything, okay, even merge delete. For every call from UI5, XSCRF token will be passed from the model data. So this we don't have to take care. All it will be taken care. It will be taken care by the OData model. So for every call, there is a XSCRF token will be passed. Okay, just for security purpose. Okay, and this is what the value that will be available. So let's say explicitly, if you want to fetch XSCRF token, you can get that. So there is a method within a model. through which you can get this XSCRF token. Okay, so yeah, I think this is the payload. So let's add a code for update. So right click on this update, just redefine. So this is my update method now. Now let's add a code for update. A type I'll copy of this. Now again, I will use iOData provider. And now what is the final syntax? Modify. Modify ZT purchase order from LS internal table. That's it. So this is a code for update. Check the syntax. So there is no syntax error. We'll just activate this code. That's it. So let's go back. So put is already selected. So let's execute. Okay, so looks like we got an error. And can you see now? It's telling so there is an error in our payload that we passed. And that's why I'm getting 400 as a bad request. Okay, so now what is the error, guys? Can you tell me what is the error? What it says, the data service request contains system query option that are not allowed for this request type. What it means, we want to do update operation, right? So do we should we pass dollar this question dollar format equal to JSON in the URL?
No.
No, right? Yes, that is the reason. Remove that. So what I said for update and post, we must not pass any query options. For update, definitely the key value pairs we must pass, but for post, so this key value pairs are not required. So simply just by passing entity set will be fine. Okay, so I selected put and I'll just execute now. See, so for update, what is the status code 204? For create, what is the status code 201? And then for reading normal, there is a status code 200. So these are like whichever the status code you will see based on 200 series, all are success. So this record is updated successfully within a table. That's why you can see the status code as 204. So let's go back into our table and I will refresh this record. So which field we have updated? We updated BS type as A and BSART as NC, I think. Right? NC and BS type as A. Only two fields we updated so far. I'll just refresh. Yeah, can you see this? BS type as A, BSART as NC for that particular record. Okay, so our update is also working fine.